I'll explain how the first round works, as always. We have got a Who Am I round. So a Who Am I round is where I'm going to give you a series of clues as to who the person is that I am. If you guess it on your first clue, you'll get 10 points. If you guess it on the second clue, you'll get 8 points. Then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The clues get progressively easier as we go through, but you can only guess once. Now, I don't want you to hand your answer in or put it in the chat box or anything like that. Just write it down on a piece of paper and be honest with yourselves about when you would have handed it in. So you can only guess once. I'll give you a series of clues. If you guess it on the first one, great. But if you then change your mind after you've heard 2 more clues, you can't change your mind on your answer. You've already answered at that point. So it's entirely up to you when you decide to go for it. You can claim 10, you can claim 8, you can claim 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But you can only guess it at once. So be honest with yourselves about when you would have handed it in. I know when I do this at Falmouth Cricket Club, I normally wander around and collect people's team sheets in for this one and their answers as they hand them in. We can't do that here. So just write it down and say, right, go in for 6, be brave, and then we'll see how you get on. So is that clear to everyone? Is that not clear? Is there anyone that's not found that clear? Right, okay. So the first one is a Who Am I? For 10 points. I was born on the 6th of May, 1953 in Edinburgh. I was born on the 6th of May, 1953 in Edinburgh. That's your first clue for 10 points. So with this one, what I normally say is if you are guessing it and you want to go for it, just comment in the chat box how many points you're going for, so everyone else can see when you would have handed it in. So don't put your guess down, don't put your working out or anything. Just put the number of points that you would have guessed for, or going for 8, going for 6, as I read the clues out, so everyone else can see how many other people are going for. It puts a little bit of pressure on them then. If they're not quite sure and they're rumming and ahhing, it puts a bit of pressure on to get in and get their answer in. So it's always good to get a gauge of where people are guessing for this. And I guarantee there will be a 0 point given out somewhere. It's going to happen. So your first clue for 10 points, I was born on the 6th of May, 1953 in Edinburgh. It doesn't look like anyone's being brave. That's not unusual. 10 points is a difficult one to go for normally. So I'm going to move on to your next clue for 8 points. For 8 points, I studied law at St John's College, Oxford. I studied law at St John's College, Oxford. No, it's not Dolly Parton, Mum. No. Don't say it out loud, people can hear you. So are you going for it ever, eh? Are you not sure? My mum's tempted, but I don't think she's going to go for 8, but she's tempted. So for 10 points, I was born 6th of May, 1953 in Edinburgh. For 8 points, I studied law at St John's College, Oxford. And Sharon, Rose and Chloe have submitted their answer for 8 points. Do you know what? So it's just the one that's in so far going for 8 points. No one knows what they've gone for. You'll gradually see the faces either start smiling as I answer the next clue, or go for the next clues, or gradually start frowning. That's usually what happens when people start realising the clues are getting easier. So I'll give you a little bit of time there just in case any more want to come in for 8 points. You can't mouth it to me, expect me to say yes or no, Mum. I mean, do you know what? There's no cheating in this game. So for 10 points, I was born 6th of May 1953 in Edinburgh. For 8 points, I studied law at St John's College, Oxford. We've only got one answer in so far for 8 points. I'm going to go for 6 points now. I've been portrayed in films 3 times by the same actor. I have been portrayed in films 3 times by the same actor. Margaret going for 6. Paul Blinkhorn going for 6. See, I wouldn't have known these films, but knowing the person that was the person that did him for 3 films does ring a bell.
Can you just repeat that last one again?
Of course I can, Kath. I have been portrayed in films 3 times by the same actor. That's 3 different films my character has appeared, and it's been by the same actor each time. And by character, I don't actually mean character, I mean the person. So it's a bit tougher this week, I think. I think we got most people getting 8s last week on this round, so only 3 to have been answered so far is it's definitely a bit tougher. I slipped up with the Silver Black one last week, didn't I, with the autobiography. So here goes for 5 points is an autobiography one. My autobiography is entitled, well, it's actually his memoirs, but my autobiography stroke memoirs is entitled A Journey. My autobiography stroke memoirs is entitled A Journey. That's your clue for 5 points. I've got you all thinking this week. I like this. I like it when you're all stumped. How's Sharon, Rose and Chloe thinking? Are they thumbs up or thumbs down at the minute? It's still thumbs up. That's good. Went for 8 points and they're still thumbs up. Davina going for 5. Still only 4 in by the looks of things. So we're still a lot of people waiting for clues on this one, I think. So your clue for 5 points there was my autobiography stroke memoirs is entitled A Journey. I'm going to give you your clue for 4 points now. For 4 points, I was heavily criticised for my involvement in our invasion of Iraq in 2003. I was heavily criticised for my involvement in our invasion of Iraq in 2003. Tom going for 4. Danny Wadsworth and Neil going for 4. My mum's going for 4. Catherine was going for 4. There we go. They're all coming flooding in. Joby 4. Phil 4. Joe 4. Boothie 4. That's the big giveaway clue this week, I think. Ryan 4. David Arnique 4. Sarah Diggle 4. Sarah and Lee. So they're all coming in. Jean, they're sending it to me privately 4. Just so you all don't know, but there it is, coming in privately. Alison and Joss 4. Paul 4. Everyone's coming in for 4 there. Mary 4. Good. I think they're all coming in there. I mean, I'm going to move on with the next clue. I think most are probably in, but there might be the odd one that's not. So we will carry on with the clues. I normally speed up towards the end because most are in by this point. But for 3 points, I am a former Prime Minister. Boothie says Greg 4. How does that work, Boothie? Has he messaged you to say 4, or is that?
No, you can raise your hand. So he's raised his hand. You've not seen it. It's under his name. So I've popped it in the chat box for him.
Cool. Not a problem. Spot on. So Greg's gone for 4 as well. So your 3-point clue was I'm a former Prime Minister. I think most are in, so I'll move on fairly swiftly with that one. For 2 points, my wife is called Cherie. For 2 points, my wife is called Cherie. For 1 point, my initials are TB. Well, they're not, but you'll know him as TB. I am, of course, Tony Blair. So let us know in the comments. Let us know if you got it right or not. How many points we ended up with? I'm hoping there'll be a 0 in there. I love giving out zeros. Boothie gets his 4. Sarah gets a 4. Davina 5. Phil 4. Mary 4. Paul 6. Tom 4. Joby 4. Ryan 4. Justine 4. The Wadsworths 4. David Arnique 4. Jean gets a 0. Jean gets. Mum, why are you commenting on that? Right, you, no, you don't need to comment. I'll shout yours out if you don't mind. My mum got 4. She's put it as a comment on the picture round, but no one can see that because she's not watching the Zoom. She doesn't need to because I'm sat 6 feet apart from her. Right, Jean 0. Jean, who did he go for out of interest? Catherine was 4. Sharon, Rose, and Chloe 8. Very, very well done. 8 there. That's great. I think at that point I'd have been, yeah, that's a really good answer. I was trying to throw the Gordon Brown one in there as a bit of a tricky one that people might have stumped on. I didn't know Tony Blair was born in Scotland, to be honest with you. So, Paul 4, Joe 4. It looks like Jean might be the only casualty there. Jean went for Gordon Brown. Yes, celebration from Mr. Cross. Thank you, Jean. You fell into my trap. Don't worry, you won't be the only one. There'll be plenty more of them to come. Right, so I'm going to move on to your next section, which is your general knowledge quiz. Your first 10 questions. So just write down on a piece of paper 1 to 20 for this one. I'm just going to go through the first 10, and then we have a little break, and then we come back and do the answers to the wipeout round, and then we move on to your second Who Am I and your second set of 10 questions, and then we go through all the other answers at the end. So your first question on tonight's general knowledge quiz. In ascending order, list all 7 Roman numerals. In ascending order, list all 7 Roman numerals. So again, I don't want any answers in the chat for this one. I just want your answers on a piece of paper and then we'll mark them at the end. Question 2. Which 2 counties border Scotland? Which 2 counties border Scotland? And I want both for the point with this one. Simon, I forgot to give you the wink, but did you start recording?
I certainly did.
Oh, very good. No flies on you, is there?
It only took me a month.
So question 2, which 2 counties border Scotland? I have a confession to make for number 3. I actually tested this one out early in the week on my mum. So she's had a bit of a chance to try and do some homework and find out. But question 3, starting in 1957, which animal is stamped onto most eggs bought in the UK? Starting in 1957, which animal is now stamped onto most eggs bought in the UK? Did you go checking them out in the kitchen, Mum? You couldn't see them. No, I'll have to get your glasses on for that one. Question 4. Where does a Steiff teddy bear have its tag of authenticity? Where does a Steiff teddy bear have its tag of authenticity? How specific do you want us to be? I think I know what you're getting at there, and I'm going to say not too. Paul's just messaged, by the way, privately saying, how specific do you want us to be? I think I know why you're asking that question, and I'm going to say not that specific, if that makes sense. If you've got an inkling as to where it might be, then that might help a little bit. I'm not, yeah, fair enough. I'll stop there before I give any other hints, but not that specific. Question 5. What is Louise Brown famous for? What is Louise Brown famous for? It looks like Phil and Paula have just logged on. What I'll do, just crack on. We're going through the general knowledge quiz at the minute. Just catch up on what we're at now, and then when we have our little break, I'll get you up to speed on the who am I that you've missed in the first few questions. But you'll be able to catch up. If you look on the Facebook page, I've posted the picture round and the wipeout round. The priority there will be get your wipeout round sorted first, because we'll go through that one after the little break. Question 6. Which Scottish city has the largest population? Which Scottish city has the largest population? Hello. I said hello. Yeah. Alison and Joss, my mum's saying, say hello, make sure people know the newcomers. Hello. Hello, newcomers. Everybody's welcome. It's turned into all my mum's cronies, this, doing a quiz. Question 7. What originally came in 8-inch, then 5 1/4 inch, and then 3 1/2 inch? And that's not the reason for your rating of 12 on tonight's quiz, by the way.
Sorry, Jonathan, can you repeat the question?
I can indeed.
Hi,
What originally came in 8-inch, then it was 5 1/4 inch, and then it was 3 1/2 inch. Let's not be cheating, you, texting people. All right.
Ask me what toothpaste I want.
All right.
You can check it.
No, it's all right. Question 8. How is 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue better known? How is 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue better known? Paula and Phil, I will warn you, I've given tonight's quiz a rating of 12, not the usual PG, because question 20 is quite rude. So if you've got the kids around, just be aware that question 20, it might need to be fingers and ears time. Well, certainly for your answer anyway. Can I repeat the last one, Dave and I need? Yes, certainly. How is number 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue better known? That's question 8. How is 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue better known? Question 9. If you were talking to Frank, what would you most likely be discussing? If you were talking to Frank, what would you most likely be discussing? I'm expecting Kath to say, Frank who? And question 10, the last one before we have a little break. What are the first words of Winnie the Pooh every day? What are the first words of Winnie the Pooh every day? That's question 10. So we've now done Who Am I? And we've done your first 10 questions of your general knowledge quiz. We're going to have a little break now so you can get topped up on your beers if you want to, or put the kettle on, or go for a wee, or whatever you need to do. And then when who wants me? Kath, fire away.
Say number 7 again, please.
Number 7 again. Yeah, I'll repeat number 7 again for you. What originally came in 8-inch, then in 5 1/4 inch, and then in 3 1/2 inch? What came in those sizes?
All right. Still don't know it.
Still don't know it. Right, so we'll have a little break now. When we come back, I'll say probably be about 10 past or 8:15, we'll come back for the second half. We're going to do the second Who Am I, which is actually a What Am I this time. And we're going to go through your second half of the quiz. But before we do that, we'll do a wipeout round answers. So please make sure you've got your wipeout round answers ready to essentially hand in at that point. We'll go through the answers and see who's got that, got what. So you've got 15 minutes to be getting on with those. I'm going to run through the first 10 questions again quickly, just so Paula and Phil can catch up with us. And I'll run through your Who Am I just for them as well. So let's go Who Am I first for them. Your clue for 10 points was I was born on the 6th of May, 1953 in Ed. I'm going to go through your wipeout round answers. So if you're crossing anything off at the last minute because you don't want to submit it, cross it off now. But your top 10 downloads worldwide for apps in March 2020 are as follows. Number 1, the most downloaded app in 2020 March was TikTok. Number 2 was, you don't need these in order by the way, any of them is fine. My mum says what's TikTok, which makes me think she might struggle on this round. Question number 2 was WhatsApp. What's up, as my mum calls it. Number 3, believe it or not, was Zoom. What we're all on right now, Zoom. For probably the first of the topical ones, I think that one. Number 4 was Facebook. Number 5, Messenger. Or Facebook Messenger, if you want to call it that. Number 6 is Instagram. Number 7 is Share It. That's probably a tougher one, I'd have thought. Number 8, Netflix. Number 9, Snapchat. And number 10 is Google Classroom. So TikTok, WhatsApp, Zoom, Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, Share It, Netflix, Snapchat, and Google Classroom are your top 10 apps downloaded in March 2020 worldwide. Stick in your comments how many you got on that round so we can see. So we've got Phil gets 7. 7 is a great score on that round. I really do think 7's fantastic. Sharon, Rose, and Chloe gets 5. Boothie gets a 0. Ryan 7, Catherine was 7, the Wadsworths 5, Joby 7, Paul Blinkhorn 0, Mary Morgan 0, Josh Nowison get 5, Boothie went for YouTube, yeah, it's just outside. Gene 6, Davina 5, David Inique wiped out because of Twitter. Yep. Speaky 6, Paul 0, Joe Wipeout, Sarah 2. It's a safe 2 though. You always better get in some. Kath gets a 0, Paul and Phil get 6, and my mum gets 2. What did Alison get? My mum says. Did I read them out? I can't remember. Margaret gets 0.
We got 5, B.
5. So there's a big range there. Got from 0s up to 7s on that round. Tough round. Topical, I think. But one of them that everyone... It's a tough quiz this week. No. Sorry.
Crossy, was that worldwide, that?
That was worldwide, yeah. I found it on a... Let's have a look. What did I find it on? Top apps worldwide for March 2020 by download. The App Store downloads, YouTube was in. Google Play downloads, it wasn't. But total, overall downloads, yeah, YouTube doesn't feature. What did I find it on that one? I took a screenshot of it earlier today. I looked up Sensor Tower, it came off some website called. It was one of those statistics sorts of websites, I think. Right, so where am I at now? Moving on to your next Who Am I? But your next Who Am I is not a Who Am I, it's a What Am I? I see Sarah and Lee have moved inside. Right, so what am I? Same rules apply on this one. Series of clues, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can only hand it in once. You can't change your mind once you've handed it in. Don't put any answers in the group chat. Just put in the number that you're going for when you're going for it so people can see. And then at the end, we'll see who scores what. So for 10 points, I have a speed limit of 99 miles per hour. I have a speed limit of 99 miles per hour. Paula says she got 0. You got one wrong, did you, in that, Paula? You're not the only one, don't worry. Plenty zeros in that round. It's not unusual. I've had weeks where I've done that and every single person's got 0. In fact, Phil, I remember one week, I think every single person got 0 and you got 23 in the cricket club or something like that. Was that the football teams? Yeah, football league football teams finishing in town or city, I asked. And I gave out zeros after zeros after 0 and Phil ended up with 23 out of 25. Needless to say, he won the quiz that week. Well, that's the glory of that round.
Kath came second with 5, didn't she?
Kath did come second with 5, you're right, yeah. Kath went for 5 and came second. Well done, Kath. Kath can't stand football questions either, so she did very well that week. So for 10 points, I have a speed limit of 99 miles per hour. It doesn't look like anyone's confident to go for it for 10. So for 8 points, I carry approximately 10 million passengers per year. I carry approximately 10 million passengers per year. Joe will be going for 8. Sharon, Rose and Chloe going for 8. Sarah, 8. The Wadsworths, 8. Dave and Inique, 8. Catherine was 8. Joss and Alison, 8. Where are we at there? Boothie, 8. Mary Morgan, 8. They're all flooded in there for 8. That's quite an easy clue, I think. Are you tempted yet, Mum?
No.
Not sure? No. Tom Speak, 8. Phil going for 8. Joe going for 8. Quite a lot of 8s coming in there. For 6 points. Yep, you going for 8? Don't say it out loud, everyone can hear you.
Yes.
Yes, my mum's going for 8 as well. Margaret's gone for 8. Jean's gone for 8. For 6 points, I am 31.35 miles long. I am 31.35 miles long. So we've had a lot of answers in there, but it's difficult to see who's not answered. So it's I'll carry on as I've been doing with the clues, give me a bit of time between each one. And then when we get down to the last few, I'll rush through them. Paul's going for 6. Kath's going for 6. Ryan's going for 6. There's a few more having a stab there. Paul's gone for 6. Paul Walker as well, gone for 6 as well. Cool. For 5 points, I opened in May 1994. I opened in May 1994. My mum's celebrating. She's quite confident after that clue. For 4 points, quite publicly, I've caused a problem with illegal immigration. For 4 points, quite publicly, I have caused a problem with illegal immigration. For 3 points, I am an underground railway system. I am an underground railway system. There's no answers coming in, which makes me think that everybody's in. I think people would have guessed it by now if they weren't. So I will run through these fairly sharpish. For 2 points, I am between England and France. And for 1 point, I mean, without specifically giving my name away, I can't give a better clue than this, but I am a tunnel through the English Channel. I'm a tunnel through the English Channel. I am, of course, the Channel Tunnel or Euro Tunnel. So let's see in the chat box how many people got on that round. I'm expecting people will get what they went for, but let's see. So Joby 8, David Inique 8, Phil 8, Wadsworth 8, Ryan 6, Sharon, Rose and Chloe 8, Mary Morgan 8, Jean gets 8, Joss and Alison get 8, Sarah gets the 8, Boothie gets 8, Tom Speak gets 8, Paul Walker 6, Catherine was 8, Paula and Phil. Wow. Go on, what did you go for? Joe gets 8, Davina gets 8, and Kath Porter gets 6. My mum gets 8. My mum gets the 8 she went for as well.
Paula said a train.
Paula said just a generic train. Yeah. I think normal trains, I don't know on speeds actually, normal trains, that sounds probably about right. But yeah, a lot more than 10 million passengers per year on just a standard train, I'd imagine. I love how Phil pounded it off on Paula and said, it's Paula's fault. Paula said a train. You supervised. You're just as guilty to it as well. Right, so make sure you make a note of how many you got on that round as well, and we'll top those up at the end. And we're going to crack on with your second 10 questions on your general knowledge quiz, and then we'll go through some answers after that as well. So, question 11. What is Mark David Chapman famous for? What is Mark David Chapman famous for? In fact, I can see Neil there with a pint glass. Is that another one, Nick, from the cricket club, Neil? Martin's got me on commission, you know, pointing out who's nicking glasses. They'll be getting an increase in membership when we go back in there. Question 12. From which fruit is the spirit kirsch made? From which fruit is the spirit kirsch made? Another one. Kath Port there, Stella Artois. That looks like a cricket club glass. In fact, there's about half a dozen of them there. Question 13. On which Mediterranean island is Mount Etna? On which Mediterranean island is Mount Etna? Question 14. In which US state is Pearl Harbor? Question 14. In which US state is Pearl Harbor? On its way, Mo. Stick it in it for a bit. Question 15. Which toy was named from the Greek word that means beautiful shape to see? Which toy was named from the Greek word that means beautiful shape to see? You guessing on that one? Can't be any worse than that on the week. Question 16. In athletics, sorry, Boothie, that rules you out. Question 16. In athletics, which piece of equipment weighs 4 pounds 6 ounces? In athletics, which piece of equipment weighs 4 pounds 6 ounces? And Tom speaks quietly buzzing there that I've not singled him out and said, it rules you out, aren't you, Tom? In athletics, which piece of equipment weighs 4 pounds 6 ounces? Question 17. Which everyday object measures exactly 210 millimetres by 297 millimetres? Which everyday object measures exactly 210 millimetres by 297 millimetres?
Only centimetres or millimetres?
There are 10 millimetres in a centimetre.
10?
Yeah.
In a millimetre?
Yeah. So it's about 12 inch by 8.5 inch, that area, roughly. So yeah, clue for everyone there. So if you don't know millimetres, it's about 12 inch by 8.5 inch, that area. But it's exactly 210 millimetres by 297 millimetres. Boothie, you asked for a repeat. Which question do you want to repeat on?
14 and 15, mate.
Not a problem. 14 again was in which US state is Pearl Harbor? And number 15 was which toy was named from the Greek word meaning a beautiful shape to see? Which toy was named after the Greek word that means a beautiful shape to see? So my last question, which everyday object measures exactly 210 mils by 297 mils? Lee's just messaged me saying I've had that one before. Quite possibly, Lee. I do apologise if I've put a repeat on there. Question 18. Which brewery abandoned the swastika as its logo in the 1930s? Question 18. Which brewery abandoned the swastika as its logo in the 1930s? Sarah says repeat question 15, not a problem. Sarah, 15 again. Which toy was named from the Greek word meaning a beautiful shape to see? Question 19. In which London street did Sweeney Todd run his infamous barbershop? In which London street did Sweeney Todd run his infamous barbershop? And the last question of tonight's quiz, which is the naughty one. As promised last week, I said I'd put a Faulty Towers question on the quiz. So here it is. At the start of each Faulty Towers episode, the letters on the sign were rearranged. One episode was rated 12, as opposed to all the others that were rated PG. And that was because of the anagram that were Faulty Towers that was used on the sign in this episode. What were the letters rearranged to read? So at the start of each Faulty Towers episode, the letters on the sign reading Faulty Towers were rearranged. One episode out of the 12, I think that were in there, was rated 12. The rest were PG. And it was because of the anagram that was used in that episode. What were the letters rearranged to read? And when I read the answer out for that one, you will definitely need to have your kids elsewhere. There's a clue for you. Right, so I'll give you a couple of minutes just to finish off any answers and ask for any repeats if you need any repeats. And then we'll go through the answers to your picture round, which I need to find out myself as well. I can't remember what I did for them. And also for your 20 questions, and then we'll tot them up. Sarah says, repeat 18 and 19, Aki rang up. Was he asking about his glasses that people have been nicking? Was he? Yeah. 18 again. Which brewery abandoned the swastika as its logo in the 1930s? That's question 18. Which brewery abandoned the swastika as its logo in the 1930s? Question 19 was, in which London street did Sweeney Todd run his infamous barbershop? In which London street did Sweeney Todd run his infamous barbershop? That's 18 and 19 again. Are there any other repeats? Joby says hilarious. I'm guessing that's the Faulty Towers one. If you watch Faulty Towers, I think you'll know that one. And if you don't watch Faulty Towers or haven't watched Faulty Towers, you probably should, because it's bloody hilarious. Question 10 for Mary Morgan, not a problem. Question 10, what are the first words of Winnie the Pooh every day? What does Winnie the Pooh say when he wakes up?
He does say, I'm hungry.
Kath, you're on speaker.
Johnny? Ian got that Faulty Towers before you even finished the question.
Ian got the Faulty Towers one before I'd even finished the question. Good. I mean, I did give a clue that it was going to be naughty, so I think any fan of Faulty Towers might be able to guess that one fairly sharpish. Quiz. Right, I'll give you a 2-minute warning for your answers. So if you want to top your beers up, in fact, I'm going to do that as well. Top your beers up or pop to the loo or put the kettle on or whatever you're going to do. You've got 2 minutes to do so, and then we'll go through your pictures and we'll go through your 20 questions, and then we'll see who's got what tonight. Not shut it. No. First, picture round first, your answers. Number 1 on your picture round. Is everyone sat back down? Where are we at? Let's have a look. Looks like everyone sat back down. Yeah, looks like we're good to go. Right, number 1 on your picture round is Ray Winston. Number 2 is Michael Phelps. Number 3 is Tintin. Number 4 is Stephen Fry. Number 5 is Colleen Nolan. Number 6, Mariah Carey. Number 7 is Sacha Baron Cohen. Number 8, Jasper Carrot. Number 9 is Thora Hird. Number 10 is Phil Tufnell. Number 11 is Michelle Keegan. Number 12 is William Hague. Number 13, Joanna Lumley. Number 14, Craig Charles. And number 15 is Jason Statham. I think I put Jason Statham on when we were in the cricket club about a couple of months ago, to be honest with you. But there we go. So there's your 15 for your number 7. 1 second. Sharon says who's number 7. Shut it down now, but wait me a second. Number 7 is Sacha Baron Cohen. He was the actor that played Ali G. Boovy says, put Michael Hague. 1 wrong on his pictures, put Michael Hague. Yeah, you are a knob for that one, definitely. Paul, you struggled there for 7. Everyone else seems to be 14s, 15s, 13s. Full house for Davina. Lots of 14s coming in there. They're quite good scores, really good scores, actually. Paula coming in with 11. Joss Nowison 13. 11 for my mum as well. Joby 14. Yeah, lots of double-figure scores there. I usually make the picture end quite easy, to be honest with you, so I think that's expected that most people will be getting those sorts of scores. Right, I'm going to move on to your 20 questions then. Kath, 15, really? You got every single one of them? Wow, that's fantastic. Well done. Right, I'm going to move on to your 20 questions. So, in ascending order, list all 7 Roman numerals. I, V, X, L, C, D, M. I'll say that again. It's I, V, X, L, C, D, and M. So I is 1, V is 5, X is 10, L is 50, C is 100, D is 500, and M is 1,000 on your Roman numerals. In ascending order, list all
all for
7
1 point?
Roman numerals.
How many points, Crossy?
Just 1 point, mate. 1 point for getting all those in the right order.
Tough school this.
Oh, behave. That's what someone says when they've got all 7 and they want to find out how many points they can wangle out of it. You're getting 1 point. You know I don't give multiple points out very often on these sorts of things.
Do you know what I did?
What did you do?
Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, that's not going to get any points. So my mum actually did the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in Roman numerals.
So did we.
Yeah.
So did we.
There's a few done that. Oh dear. Right, I do apologise if I've not made that one clear. So, fair enough. That's me told. Right, question 2. Which 2 counties border Scotland? The 2 counties that border Scotland, I need both for the point, are Cumbria and Northumberland. Cumbria and Northumberland are the 2 counties that border Scotland. Question 3. Started in 1957, which animal has been stamped onto, is stamped onto most eggs that are bought in the UK? Is stamped with the quality mark, which is a lion, of course. Question 4. Where does a stiff teddy bear have its tag of authenticity? The answer is its ear. And Paul, I'm guessing you were toying whether it was his left or its right ear. He's nodding there. So yeah, I'm not too fussed about that one. I just wanted to know it was in his ear. What is Louise Brown famous for? That was question number 5, and she was the first test tube baby. Louise Brown was the first test tube baby. Question 6. Which Scottish city has the largest population? That's
Sorry,
Glasgow.
IVF baby, is that the same or not?
Yeah.
I'll give it you. If you, you're close enough with it that I'll give you that. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Question 6. Which Scottish city has the largest population? It's Glasgow. Question 7. What originally came in 8-inch, then 5 1/4 inch, and then 3 1/2 inch? That was a floppy disk.
Do you know what I said?
Do I want to know what you said, Mum?
A McDonald's burger.
A McDonald's burger. An 8-inch McDonald's burger.
We've got curly whirly.
Curly whirlies. All these cynical people thinking that snacks are shrinking. I remember Chris used to be bigger in my day and all that. Right, so where are we at? Question 8. How is 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue better known? It's better known as the White House. Question 9. If you were talking to Frank, what would you most likely be discussing? You would most likely be discussing drugs if you were talking to Frank. My mum's laughing. That doesn't fill me with confidence. What are you laughing at?
Well, number 8.
Pennsylvania Avenue. What have you put?
Dracula's house.
Dracula's house. Wow.
And talking to Frank.
Go on.
Boxing.
Talking to Frank. Not Frank Bruno. Oh, dear me. Right, so question 10. What are the first words of Winnie the Pooh every day? What's for breakfast? Question 11. What is Mark David Chapman famous for? He shot John Lennon. Question 12. From which fruit is the spirit kirsch made? It's made from cherries. Question 13. On which Mediterranean island is Mount Etna? Mount Etna is on Sicily. Question 14. In which US state is Pearl Harbor? Pearl Harbor is in Hawaii. I've just noted there's a question saying, can we do 10 again? Number 10 again. What are the first words of Winnie the Pooh every day? What's for breakfast? Was your repeat at number 10. Question 15. Which toy was named from the Greek word meaning a beautiful shape to see? That's the kaleidoscope. Go on.
Barbie doll.
The Barbie doll. A beautiful shape to see. You put the Barbie doll.
Vera, so did we.
Right, we need to get you in a steam next week. Right, that's 15. 16. In athletics, which piece of equipment weighs 4 pounds 6 ounces? It's the discus. Question 17. What everyday object measures exactly 210 millimetres by 297 millimetres? I will pretty much guess that every single one of you is using one tonight. It's an A4 sheet of paper. Question 18. Which brewery abandoned the swastika as its logo in the 1930s? That was Carlsberg.
Did Carlsberg make Heineken?
No, different brewery. Question 19. In which London street did Sweeney Todd run his infamous barbershop? He was the demon barber of Fleet Street. Question 20. At the start of each Faulty Towers, this is a kids' fingers and ears moment if there's any kids around. So at the start of each Faulty Towers episode, the letters on the sign were rearranged. Letters would normally read Faulty Towers were rearranged. One episode was rated 12. All the others were PG because of the anagram that was used in the episode. What was it? The anagram was flowery twats. So give yourself a point if you put flowery twats and give yourself a good pat on the back for that one. Can we have 15, 16 again, and 19 again? Yeah, of course we can. So 15 again. Which toy was named from the Greek word meaning beautiful shape to see? That was kaleidoscope. 16 again. In athletics, which piece of equipment weighs 4 pounds 6 ounces? That was the discus. Question 19 again. In which London street did Sweeney Todd run his infamous barbershop? That was Fleet Street. I think that's the repeat sorted. 18 again. 18. Which brewery abandoned the swastika as its logo in the 1930s? That was Carlsberg. And then I think we've got numbers of what people got coming in. So 17 from Mary, 16 from Boothie, 15 from Phil. Let's not do the 10 from Josh and Alison. Let's not do the totals for that round. Let's just go straight into your totals. Add everything up and let us know what you got. So, right, okay. So Phil's has come in for 49. Jeff Duke. It's warm. Where are we at? Phil, 49. Sarah and Lee, 40. Margaret, 47. The Wadsworths, 46. Sharon, Rose and Chloe, 50. Jean, 35. Joby, 42. Paul, 33. Joe, 40. Paula and Phil, 27. Davina, 41. Boothie, 42. Margaret says, thank you, great quiz. You're very welcome, Margaret. I hope you've all enjoyed yourself. Paul, 34. Shocker. It was a shocker. That's 7 on the picture round for you. Just doesn't seem right. You normally get many more than that. 38 for David Iney, 40 for Justin Allison, Mary Morgan with 43, 50 from Tom Speak. Oh no, I think we've got to that point. I think we may have got to that point where I'm going to have to rustle up a little tiebreaker. Catherine was 45, Kath Pollett 38. Cheers, you're welcome, Kath. Ryan Walker 42. Justin Allison, great quiz, thanks. You're very, very welcome. Right, so I've got Mum gets what? Mum gets 35. She's on her own, 35. It's not too bad. Not too bad. You beat Paul anyway. Paul got 34. Right, okay. So, where are we at? Tom gets 50. He must have been at Oxford with Tony Blair then. And there's another 50 from Sharon, Rose and Chloe as well. So I think Davina 46 missed Wipeout. Oops, didn't count first general knowledge, was on the other page, got 48 for Joby. So 48 gets you up there, but it doesn't quite get you the lead. So I think we've got 2 people left. We've got Tom Speak and Co. And we've got Sharon, Rose and Chloe. And the what one? It's not a tiebreaker, was it? All right, so I'm going to have to find a little tiebreak question. Bear with me a second. So I'll just give you a bit of warning on this one. If you can put in the chat section, the 2 that are involved in this, which is Tom Speak and Sharon, Rose and Chloe, if you can put in the chat section privately, so it messages me only, if that's okay, if you can set that up, and then you're going to message me your answers, and then we'll see who's closest on the tiebreak, so we can announce tonight's winners. And everyone else can play along for a bit of fun as well. I don't think we've had a tiebreak yet. I know I've not done one. Did you do one, Boothie? Did you have a tiebreak at any point? No? There we go. There's a nice question. I like that. Right, your tiebreak question tonight. I'm just verifying it and double checking that it's actually correct. There we go. Your tie-break question. So I want answers just from Sharon, Rose and Chloe as one team and Tom Speak and the rest of your team. I know you're not in your own, so I'm not with a score like that. For your tie-break question, answers privately sent to me as a group chat or text me or whatever you want to do. Your question is, in metres, how long was the Titanic? In metres, how long was the Titanic? And everyone else can obviously have a bit of a play along as well, see how you get on with it. But the two that are going for tonight's quiz for the win are Tom Speak and team and Sharon, Rose and Chloe. But in metres, how long was the Titanic? Cheeky that boothie. Privately sends me a message and it's bang on. I appreciate that everyone's got access to Google.
No, I've heard it before. Sorry, mate.
Have you? Fair enough.
Crossy, I've got Sharon's answer. She sent it to me.
You've got Sharon's answer. Do you want to send it to me privately, please, Simon, if you've got Sharon's answer?
There you go.
Cool. That second one that's come through, Sharon's. That's fine. So I'm just waiting on Tom's coming through. I think he might have just... Has he just texted me? No.
Just Googling it.
He's just finishing Googling it now. No, I've nothing on my phone, so nothing on my phone yet. So it can either be sent privately on here. In fact, to be fair, I've got the other one in, so you can just go and mute yourself and say what you want now if you want. Tom, are you there?
He's just gone measuring it.
You've just gone pacing it out.
It's hard work with these.
Oh, you've got all them on your on your Zoom. You need to nominate a team captain next week.
We've got a time limit on this, Crossy.
I'm glad I'm back at work next week.
Next week's quiz starts at 7:15 on Tuesday. So, come on, Tom, where we at? I'm going to rush you a little bit, Tom. Right, so I've got an answer. I've got two answers, in fact. The first answer is from Sharon, Rose and Chloe, and it's 250 metres. And the second answer is from Tom and Co, and it's 300 metres. And the correct answer is the length of the Titanic in metres is 269.1 metres, meaning that by a margin of very, very little, couple of 3 metres, Sharon, Rose and Chloe have won tonight's quiz. So congratulations to Sharon, Rose and Chloe. Sorry, Sarah, I missed that. Say that again.
Go, Shazza.
Oh, there we go. Well done, Shazza. So Sharon, Rose and Chloe have won tonight's quiz. Very, very well done to you all. Thank you all very much for taking part. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. Quiz will go on again next week. Usual time, 7:15. It will stay on Zoom. I think it's working well on Zoom. 7:15 when I post the pictures and the Wi-Fi around. Paula and Phil, just make note of that. 7:15 start for the quiz. Yeah, we'll post the usual things on Facebook as I normally do, and then we'll crack on with the rest of the quiz at about 7:30. So I hope to see as many of you here as possible next week. Hope you've all enjoyed yourselves. Thank you very much for attending, and see you all soon.
Brilliant, thank you. Woo. See you later.
See you later, guys.
Well done, Crossy lad.
Cheers, pal.
I'll upload this to the group, pal.